let's get right into it. Today's explainer is all about the physical hardware that makes human athletic performance possible. I mean, think about it. Whether you're hurling a baseball at 90 miles an hour, grinding through a marathon, or honestly just grabbing a coffee mug off the top shelf, you're relying on a wildly sophisticated system of biological engineering. We're talking over 300 individual connection points working in perfect harmony. So we're going under the hood. We're going to break down the anatomy of movement by exploring the literal connection points of our body, our joints.
To do that, we've got three main sections on the agenda today. First, the foundations of movement. Second, meet the synovial joints. And finally, Section 3, the mechanics of motion.
Kicking things off with Section 1, the foundation of movement. Let's look at how the body builds its hardware. So, if we want to really understand the complex maneuvers of an athlete, we have to start with the fundamental building blocks. What actually is a joint? At its core, it's just a point where two or more bones meet. That's literally it. But from that super simple definition comes this massive world of complexity. Grasping how these connection points function is absolutely crucial if you want to understand movement mechanics, or more importantly, prevent athletic injuries. Because let's be real, if you don't know how the machine is put together, you can't optimize it and you definitely can't stop it from breaking down.
Now keep in mind, not all joints are built for those sweeping, dramatic movements. On one hand, we've got fibrous joints. These are practically immovable, locked together by super tough, fibrous connective tissue. Think about the sutures between the bones of your skull. Their job is armor and stability, no movement at all. But then, on the other hand, we have cartilaginous joints, which give us just a little bit of wiggle room. These are connected by cartilage, kind of like the intervertebral discs buffering your spine. They give us exactly enough flex to bend and twist, all while absorbing the massive, constant shock of gravity.
Moving into Section 2, meet the synovial joints. These are the real stars of movement.
Okay, since we've knocked out the restrictive and protective joints, let's shift gears to where the magic of human agility actually happens, synovial joints. These are freely movable, and what makes them special is this fluid-filled cavity sitting right between the articulating bone surfaces. You can think of synovial fluid as the ultimate, perfectly engineered biological lubricant. Just like motor oil keeps the metal parts of an engine from grinding, this fluid is what ensures our bones don't just completely wear each other away over a lifetime of constant friction. It's a lifesaver.
And within this category, our bodies use a few different mechanical designs to pull off some remarkably different tasks. Specifically, there are 5 categories of these freely movable synovial joints: hinge, ball and socket, pivot, gliding, and saddle. Together, they dictate everything from a simple wave of your hand to a ridiculously complex gymnastics routine. Let's quickly break them down.
First up is the hinge joint. Picture a heavy wooden door opening and closing. That is exactly how the hinge joint in your knee or your elbow operates. It totally restricts movement to a single plane of motion. Now, why do that? Because it's incredibly stable and powerful. It acts like a biological lever so you can launch yourself forward or lift heavy objects, intentionally trading rotational freedom for just raw, unyielding stability. Next, we've got the ball and socket joints. Try rolling your shoulders back right now, or swinging your leg in a wide circle. You're using the multi-directional freedom of a ball and socket. Just like it sounds, a spherical bone head fits directly into a cup-like depression. It's an elegant design that gives us the widest range of motion in the entire human body, allowing us to swim, throw, dance, you name it. Then there's the pivot joint. This one is entirely about rotation around a single central axis. So, for example, when you twist your forearm over to check the time on your watch or turn a doorknob, you're firing up the pivot joint located right between the radius and ulna bones in your forearm. It just allows one bone to neatly rotate right around the other.
Our fourth type is the gliding joint. These provide that really subtle sliding flexibility you feel in areas packed with smaller bones. The tiny carpal bones in your wrist are a perfect example of this. Their flat surfaces just slide back and forth over one another, which is what allows for the incredibly nuanced, delicate movements you need for typing on a keyboard, painting, or playing an instrument.
And finally, we have the incredibly unique saddle joint. Wiggle your thumb around for a second. You'll feel this distinct two-plane movement made possible by the joint right at its base. It is literally shaped like a rider sitting in a saddle. And this specific configuration is a massive evolutionary game changer for us, because it gives us our opposable thumbs and allows us to powerfully grip tools.
All right, moving into Section 3, the mechanics of motion. Let's put these joints to work.
So, we've got the hardware mapped out, right? The levers, hinges, and sockets. Now let's talk about the software.
The exact, defined movements these joints execute in the real world the second our brain says go. Anatomy actually gives us a very precise language for this. Try bending your elbow to bring your hand up towards your shoulder. That right there is flexion. You are actively decreasing the angle between those two bones. Now, push that arm back out straight, or think about how straightening a bent knee to stand up feels. That perfectly demonstrates extension, where you're increasing that angle and opening the joint right back up.
Next, let's look at side-to-side space. Imagine a straight line running right down the center of your body. That's your midline. If you raise your arms straight out to your sides, like you're about to make a snow angel, that's called aBduction. You're taking the limb away from the midline. Conversely, if you pull those arms powerfully back down to rest at your sides, that is aDduction. You're adding the limb back toward your center.
Then, of course, we have rotation. This is movement around a longitudinal axis, meaning you're turning a body part around its own center line. And you literally do this countless times a day. Simply turning your head left and right to look around the room, or checking your blind spot in the car, you are perfectly executing rotational movement using those pivot joints in your upper neck.
Now let's look down at the floor to see the highly specialized mechanics of our feet in action. When you need explosive power, like pushing off a diving board or launching into a sprint, you point your toes downward, away from your shin. That action is plantar flexion. On the flip side, when you're just taking a walk and you instinctively pull your toes up toward your shin so you don't trip over a curb, your body is using dorsiflexion.
Tying this all together, this isn't just a bunch of trivia for an anatomy exam. Mastering these movements is absolutely essential, whether you're a pro athlete or just a casual gym goer. Knowing if a joint is built to hinge or rotate dictates exactly how you can optimize your flexibility, maintain flawless form during a heavy lift, and crucially, keep devastating injuries at bay. I mean, forcing a hinge joint to rotate is literally how ligaments tear. You have to respect the mechanics.
So as we wrap up this explainer, here's what I want to leave you with. The next time you pick up a heavy box, go for a run, or frankly, even just stretch out at your desk, try to visualize this incredible biological machinery moving seamlessly beneath your skin. Keep these mechanics in mind during your next workout. If you can truly master the mechanics of your own joints, what kind of limits on your physical performance could you finally break through?